In March 2024, 15 new modernized enterprises of the agro-industrial complex and the food industry were opened in Russia with investments of more than 100 million each. Rubles. Smaller productions were not included in the review. Also, after the review, we will talk about how our fishing industry is developing. The total amount of funds invested in projects of the agro-industrial complex is more than 23 billion rubles for March. So, the second stage of the greenhouse complex with an area of 11.5 hectares has been opened in the Leningrad region. Gifts of Nature LLC has completed the construction of the second stage of the complex. Tomatoes will be grown in the new areas. The launch of the second stage allowed the creation of an additional 92 jobs. The cost of the project is 5 billion rubles. The total production area of the technical complex of LLC Gifts of Nature is slightly more than 20 hectares. The forecast of production in 2024 is 5,100 tons. Cherry tomatoes, 3,500 tons. Cucumbers, 1,100 tons. Salads, 0,500 tons. EFCO Group has opened a protein plant in the Belgorod region. It was opened in the city of Alexeyevsk. The volume of investments in the project amounted to 3.5 billion rubles. The company provides 130 jobs. The main products of the enterprise will be soy isolates and concentrates, as well as vegetable fiber. They are intended for use in the meat processing, bakery, and confectionery industries. A pet food production plant has opened in the Lipetsk region. It was opened by the Pet Expert Company on the Ilyets site of the Lipetsk Special Economic Zone. The total area of the plant is 18,000 square meters, where 16,000 square meters is occupied by a production workshop. The production capacity of the first stage of the plant is 20,000 tons of premium and super premium dry feeds per year. At the moment, the production volume is 10,000 tons with full capacity of the first stage by the end of 2024. The total volume of investments in production amounted to more than 3 billion rubles with the creation of 150 jobs. A dairy plant has been opened in the Novosibirsk region. It was opened by Tolmachevsky, a group of companies in the village of Krasnoglanov, near the city of Ob. The company will process 40 tons of raw milk. According to the head of Tolmachevsky, a group of companies, the processes at the new enterprise are 80% automated, and the equipment is 96% Russian-made. Investments in construction amounted to 1.2 billion rubles, 70 jobs were created. Vaganovo JSC has launched a robotic milk production complex. It was opened in an industrial area of the Kemerovo region. Investments in the construction of the new building amounted to 470 million rubles. The complex includes 8 robots for 520 dairy cows. When reaching full production capacity, milk production will increase by 20%, or 12 tons of milk per day, compared to 2023. The Dmitrogorsky dairy plant has completed a large-scale modernization. The packaging system company has carried out this modernization in the Konakovsky district of the Tver region, which will allow the company to increase milk processing by 70% as a result of the implementation of the 3.9 billion project. In rubles, the production capacity of the enterprise will increase by 70%, and will allow processing up to 470 tons of raw milk daily. An oil extraction plant has been launched in the Marshansky district. Its processing capacity is 600 tons of sunflower seeds per day. The capacities of the oil extraction plant, taking into account further modernization, are capable of processing up to 390,000 tons of sunflower per year. The company produces sunflower oil, meal, and cake, which are necessary for the production of compound feeds. The cost of the project amounted to 2 billion rubles. It includes an elevator with a capacity of 40,000 tons of one-time storage, which will be doubled in the future, as well as storage tanks for sunflower oil with a volume of 4,185 tons. The production building of the sausage factory has been launched in Omsk. It was launched by the Siberian Sausages Company. Thanks to the modernization of production, the company increased its output by 20%. The company has modernized the meat deboning and veneering section, the molding department, the semi-finished products workshop, the heat treatment department, and the cooling section. In total, 800 million rubles have been invested in the creation of a new production facility. Rubles of investment. A dairy farm for 400 cattle has been restored in the south of Karelia. A livestock complex for milk production was launched after major repairs in the Alanets village of Vidlitsa in Karelia. In fact, a new 400-head farm with a modern milking parlor has appeared in the region. The launch of this farm took place, and now this facility is operating in absolutely normal mode. The costs amounted to 220 million rubles. A new livestock complex has been built in Mary Tushner. The first Maya company implemented this project. The enterprise has built a livestock complex for 504 loose cows with a built-in milking and dairy unit. Construction has been carried out since 2022. The volume of investments in the project amounted to 291 million rubles. Investments in the project have created 26 new jobs. A robotic rose growing complex has been opened near Novosibirsk. This is the first such installation outside the Urals. The complex is open on the site of the Novosibirsk greenhouse complex. Previously, such flowers were grown only in Yaroslavl. More than 2.5 hectares of greenhouses have been reconstructed. The greenhouse complex has introduced a peat cutting machine and a spreading robot, an automatic powerful installation with water filtration, pneumatic compressors for the operation of production propulsion systems. The robotic complex will allow the daily production of 3 to 3.5 million flowers. A new full-cycle oilseed plant has opened in Buryatia. It was opened in the village of Medvedchikovo. This is a full-cycle plant, including the purchase, production, storage, processing of seeds, production and sale of pressed rapeseed linseed oil from cake. On the opening day, the plant processed the first batch of rapeseed oil. To date, the amount of investments for the construction of the first stage of the plant has amounted to more than 200 million rubles. The production capacity is up to 100 tons of raw materials per day. 30 new jobs have been created. A new building of the Chermisan poultry farm has been opened in Bashkiria. According to the director of the poultry farm, thanks to the opening of the new building, the volume of production of halal poultry meat will grow to 480 tons per year. 70 new jobs will also be created. A year ago, the cost of rebuilding the enterprise was estimated at 240 million rubles. A new vegetable oil extraction plant has been opened in Satarstan. It was opened in Alexievsky on the territory of the Christian farm Samata Gatina. The work at the factory is almost completely automated. The seeds are heated to get as much oil as possible, then they are squeezed out with a press. From the remaining part, cake is obtained, which will also be used as a feed additive for cattle. The plant's productivity is up to 60 tons of oil per day and the same amount of cake, as well as 30 tons of husk, which are used to form steam necessary in production and heating of the room. 150 tons of raw materials are processed per day. 110 million rubles have been invested in production. 20 jobs have been created. A large livestock complex has been opened in the Omsk region. The complex is designed for 1,800 dairy cattle. The production capacity is 16,200 tons of milk per year. The complex is equipped with modern high-tech equipment. One of them is a carousel-type milking machine with 60 seats. More than 2 billion rubles were invested in the implementation of the investment project. Well, now let's move on to our fishing industry. Russia is growing not only with grain and vegetables. Other branches of our agriculture are also setting records. In 2023, Russian fishermen produced a record catch of fish over the past 30 years, 5,300,000 tons, and this is a repeat of the 1992 result. According to the reports, 5,369,000 aquatic biological resources were extracted by the fishing industry, thus a maximum of 32 years. In all likelihood, Russia outpaced the United States in fishing and fish resources last year. By the way, to the question of why Russia needs the Sea of Azov. Now that it has become our inland sea, there is an abundance of sturgeon. Razrybolovstvo is considering the possibility of partially opening an industrial catch of sturgeon in the Sea of Azov. This was stated by the head of Razrybolovstvo Ilya Shestakov. I'll quote it. In general, we can open a number of reserves. The results on the Sea of Azov for sturgeon are very good. We are thinking about how to do this. But in fact, it is quite possible to think about not only amateur fishing, but even partially opening an industrial catch, Shestakov said. Also, Russian citizens are increasingly getting used to a good life, preferring to eat fresh fish and fish preserves instead of canned fish with a long shelf life. Over the past 5 years, the range of fish products in Russia has significantly changed. The production of canned food is decreasing, and preserves are becoming more and more in demand among consumers. In response, the presence of canned food in stores is decreasing. The output of the most mass-produced canned fish products from 2019 to 2023 decreased by 10%, from 214,000 to 193,000 tons. We are talking in particular about canned fish and tomato sauce and oil, which are subjected to thermal, chemical, or other treatment to prevent their spoilage and ensure long-term storage. The production of natural canned fish, they also undergo thermal sterilization, but of the additional ingredients, only salt and pepper are used there most often, fell by almost a quarter, from 71,000 to 54,000. At the same time, the production of fish preserves has increased in the country. Over 5 years, the growth amounted to 34%, from 72,000 to 96,000 tons. They indicated in the association. These products, unlike canned food, are not subjected to heat treatment. For the manufacture of preserves, fresh, chilled and frozen fish are used, which are salted and filleted, and then sold with filling and plastic packaging. According to the catalogs of manufacturers, the most common preserves are herring fillets in different types. The consistency of fish in preserves is approaching natural. It retains the main amount of proteins, vitamins, and trace elements. Also, The shelf life of preserves is much shorter in comparison with canned food. It usually lasts up to 4 months.